Hey y'all, welcome back and welcome to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're staying in a county park just outside of Green Bay and we'll talk more about that later, but we're starting off our visit with a bucket list item for Tom. We're gonna go tour Lambeau Field. So, hey, time's wasting, let's go. Hey y'all, I'm Stacy.
I'm Tom, and we're RV America, y'all.
As full-time RVers since 2018, we've traveled a lot and met a ton of awesome folks. But we're not done winging it yet, y'all. Join us as we check off our bucket list, experience destinations we've always dreamed of, and discover amazing places you may have never heard of.
Every day is a new adventure, and we're bringing you along for the fun. The next episode of our story begins now. Made it to Lambeau Field, bucket list. You can see it's awesome. We've got to find out where our tour starts. We've got a full day here. We're not only going to tour Lambeau Field, we get to tour their Hall of Fame, and we get to take a trolley ride. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Let's get going.
Oh, and by the way, the Packers are here today, right?
Oh, yeah. Training camp started like yesterday or whatever here, so the Packers are here. Maybe we'll get to see them. Maybe we'll get a little footage of them on training camp.
Look at this! Look at this! We come to Lambeau Field we're in Green Bay for the first time ever, and the first person we meet here is Andrew from the local NBC station.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was great running into you guys. Of course, obviously the Olympics start today, and so we're really excited. I can feel the excitement from you guys as well, and traveling the country. So it's really an honor to meet you guys and have some fun today.
Well, it's an honor to meet you, and he was nice enough to film a clip with us. So maybe, I don't know, if you're here in Green Bay, maybe you'll see us on NBC.
Yep,
and
right.
You got to be watching the Olympics. And oh, this is awesome. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
Well, Dan and Kevin were our tour guides. I'm here to tell you folks, if you're a football fan, or even if you're not a football fan, wow, this place is historic. It is a true bucket list. It is incredible. The tour, yes, and yes. I give it a 12 out of 10.
We'll be right with you.
Thank you. We're grabbing some lunch at 1919, named for the year the Packers started. It's right here in the stadium, and behind Tom is a gigantic Lombardi trophy that it looks like they built the building around.
Well, we were here taking our tour at Lambeau Field. Found out they're going to have the NFL draft in 25. So they've got a clock counting down. So it shows 272 days, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 35 seconds. Wow, I don't know if we can pull it off, but we would love to be here for that. Never know.
So wow, we had a phenomenal tour of Lambeau Field this morning, had a great lunch at 1919 here in the stadium, visited part of the Hall of Fame. We're going to come back to see more of it later, but now it's time to take a trolley tour. And we actually bought a combo pass that included all of this today. And it sounds like we're the only people on the trolley. So, oh my goodness, private tour.
This field here, we're taking the tour right now, the trolley tour. It's been outstanding. We stopped here because this is from season 5. The Green Bay Packers played here for 32 years. Right here. And this field is still going. They're still using it, obviously, today. The high school plays here.
The trolley tour here in Green Bay, it takes you through Green Bay, tells you a lot of Packers history. This place eats, sleeps, and breathes the Packers. Thank you to John and Mike for a wonderful tour. This was definitely worth your time when you're here in Green Bay.
Okay, Stacy doing the Lambeau leap. She just scored.
Of course, you didn't see me trying to get up here. That's a whole other type of leap. When you're visiting Lambeau Field, do not miss the Hall of Fame Museum, which is right behind me here. This is a separate ticket to most of the tours and things. There are some combos where you can add it on, and that's what we did. But we spent a couple hours in here, and we definitely could have spent more. We ran out of time. You can come and go throughout the same day as your ticket. Tons of not just Green Bay Packer history, that is mostly what it is, but also just football history. So very, very interesting and definitely worth your time. All right, I got proof, it happened.
Become a cheesehead, I guess.
So one of the most interesting stories about the Green Bay Packers and the community of Green Bay comes from the community support. And we're going to talk a lot about this as we go through because that is a big part of their story here. But prior to just a few years ago, Lambeau Field was here, but it was a much smaller facility, and the Green Bay Packers were one of the lowest earning teams in the NFL. So did they give up? No, they didn't. But instead of tearing down that facility and building an entirely new stadium to increase the revenue, they just built around it. And what we're standing in now is a multi-million-dollar project that's fairly new that just added on to Lambeau Field. And it increased their profitability, not just by adding more seats, by adding club suites and all of that type of thing, but that's when they added their tours and their restaurant and the Hall of Fame Museum, making them now one of the top 10 most profitable franchises in the National Football League. Pretty impressive for a community of 107,000 people.
Okay, now let's talk the tour here at Lambeau Field. This, I gotta say, of all the stuff we've done since we've gone full-time RVing, has gotta be in my top 3. It was absolutely fascinating. Loved the history of the Green Bay Packers, loved the story of the stadium. Yeah, in this expansion that Stacy talked about, that was financed by the fans. This team is not owned by a corporation or by a billionaire. This team's owned by the fans. And the stock that they sell here, the stock is, you can't sell it. You're really just, it's a piece of paper you get to take pride in saying, I'm one of the owners. because part of the deal, all the funds that they receive for that, they have to use as part of fan experience. So that's what built this great thing. That's what turned this whole franchise into making enough money to stay in this area on more than one occasion. They sold it stock 5 or 6 times to keep it going here, and the community keeps majorly supporting. Over 80,000 seats in this stadium. Well, what does that mean? Well, that's almost 80% of the population of Green Bay. So it's phenomenal. And on the game day experience, they say there's thousands and thousands of people that don't even go into the game. They take part in the tailgating and stuff. So now inside the stadium, I mean, it's just fascinating. And we took what was called the Legendary Tour. Well, that was the highest end tour when we got here. They have 4 tiers, but they're only selling 3 tiers at the day we came. And it was a 2-hour tour. And they had 2 other tours that I think they called a classic. That was a 1.5-hour tour, and then a standard tour that was an hour-long tour. However, ours, over the classic, we got to go to the press box. We got to see the press box where the reporters sit and report on the game. We also got to see the visitors' dugout, which was incredible. It's just unbelievable, the tour here. When you sit in the seats and you see out over this vast stadium. And we also got to walk out the tunnel where the players come out, Green Bay players. And that was fascinating to me. I mean, you just can almost feel the energy going out of that tunnel. And then to see, we were right there at field level. We could see the grass and stuff. Couldn't go on it. We were on a path around it. The field is fascinating. The field is made up of grass and fibers that they sewed in. Millions of fibers along with grass. One of the most unique playing surfaces in the NFL. Well, possibly the most unique playing surface in the NFL, with a heated thing underneath it and sand and stuff underneath it so it drains. Yeah, this was a fantastic tour, and like I said, an iconic. It's the oldest franchise, still in the same town, and with the same name in the NFL. So, I mean, it's fascinating. So, I hope you enjoyed the pictures and stuff we shared here, because wow, I know it's not going to do it justice, but all I can say is if you haven't taken this tour, haven't come to Lambeau, you ought to do it.
So, wow, guys, the story of Green Bay, Wisconsin centers around the Green Bay Packers. It's a story of community. It's a story of resilience. It's a story of a culture where the entire city latches on to something that's a shared interest and love and comes together around that thing, and that is the Green Bay Packers. And it's pretty amazing to be here. We're not Packers fans. We're Houston Texans fans. We're from Texas, but we're from Houston. But I'm here to tell you, this is an environment that you need to experience. We just happened to be here during training camp. It just worked out that way. This is the first week of training camp, and everybody's here to watch the players. And one of the neatest traditions that they have here, because truly this is an area steeped in tradition, it's bicycles. Kids bring their bicycles here to training camp, and after practice, the players choose a child's bicycle to ride back to the stadium where their locker room is. What a treat for the kids. They've been doing this for decades, and it's just really neat to see something like that here. Never something we ever expected to see, but what a cool tradition where the team is truly a part of the community.
Well, what's really cool is the players are just walking amongst the fans right now. It's awesome. I mean, there's no barriers here. They're just walking through. The fans are calm. They're getting signatures. The players are riding the kids' bikes. I mean, this is really cool. Really cool.
Very much a community.
Yeah, very much a community. Yep.
So part of the facility here is Tailgate Village, and they say that on game day, a lot of folks will come to the grounds here, but not go into Lambeau. Maybe they don't have tickets. They'll watch the game from inside Tailgate Village, so they still get to be a part of the game day experience. So during the tour, we learned that the homes across the street here are basically for game day experiences. They rent them out, or they come and stay during the games to be right here across from the stadium. Every one of them is different. I see a Lombardi trophy in the yard over here. Some of them have just the Green Bay logo. Some of them have decorated their fences. One of them even has a football field in their backyard. Very creative. We've also learned that the Packers own all of the land from here to the interstate. I think on this side of the road, wasn't really clear, but they own a lot of land. And by the way, it wasn't always this way. Before Lambeau Field was built, this was farmland. They actually started by buying some of the property from a local farmer. As part of the deal, they offered him lifetime season tickets. He said, I don't have time for that. This was back in the 50s. Just pay me the money and we're good. So he passed up on lifetime season tickets to the Packers. I doubt there's many people who live in Green Bay today that would pass on that deal.
Okay, another quick take here. Lambeau Field here was named after Curly Lambeau. He was one of the co-founders of the Packers. And so when you take that into account, this has been Lambeau Field from day number one. So even though they've got such a small town here supporting this franchise, they won't sell the naming rights to this stadium because this Lambeau Field is kind of encompasses the whole thing here. Unbelievable. And they're still in the top 10 in revenue in the NFL. And so, but what they will do is like this is a gate, one of the gates, and it's Bell and Health sponsors this. But all the other teams in the NFL do that as well. So they give away a big piece, but I mean, it's to keep the integrity and the history of that. History over money. That's pretty phenomenal. I like that. Another thing, up on the tower here is a clock. Well, Vince Lombardi, of course, the famous Vince Lombardi, arguably the best coach ever in the NFL. He always said, if you just knew, my watch says 3:18. Well, the clock tower is going to say about 3:33 or whatever, if you could see it. Because Vince Lombardi said, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So it's interesting that they run the clock that everybody's looking at 15 minutes ahead. And at first we thought, well, maybe they want to get everybody in the stands 15 minutes ahead. But no, the guy giving the tour, he said, no, that wasn't the real reason. It's just Vince Lombardi time. But of course, he said a lot of people don't even know why it's that way, but we do. And that's pretty cool. And I kind of like that too. I mean, I've always felt like you need to be 15 minutes early, else you're late as well.
Welcome to our campsite here in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area. This is in Suamico, Wisconsin. We are at the Brown County Reforestation Camp, which is a county park, part of a larger county park property that also includes a zoo and an adventure park. But this is their campground. Our site is a back-in 50 amp full hookup site. If you'll come in, we have a picnic table and a fire pit. And this is site number 43. We have no one to this camping side because we're right at a curve in the road. Not all of the sites here are back in. Some are pull through. Some are 30 amp and water. There's different types of sites here in the park. We're about 20 minutes from Green Bay and everything there is to do around Lambeau Field. If you'd like to see more about this park, click on over to our website, rvamericayall.com. Check out our posse, where we will have a full park review as we're doing to all of the places that we visit along our travels these days. Now, let me tie up a few loose ends about Green Bay. Green Bay is not just about the Packers. We didn't come here expecting to spend 2 full days exploring everything about the Packers. We're Texans fans. But I gotta say, I am so impressed, we are so impressed by the center of community and the way that the Packers bring this community together. It really is a big part of Green Bay. There are other things to do here. There's a historical park. There's a railroad museum. There's a car museum. There's a botanical gardens. There are other things to do, and we fully expected to do them while we're here. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, and today it's going to be storming all day. So most of that stuff is outdoor stuff, and we're not going to be able to get it in this time, so we'll have to save it for the next trip. However, if you jump over to our website, rvamericayall.com, and check out our post that goes along with this video about our visit to Green Bay, I'll list out with links all of the other fun things that we hope to do in the future when we come back to Green Bay. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, y'all, safe travels and happy camping. Bye.